Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and possibly darkest episode, even though this is only our third episode in, of the latest episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch. New episode dropped today, finally had a chance to watch it. It's been a busy day and a busy week, but I finished it off with a new episode, and there's a lot to talk about. Now, before I begin, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled episode review, so if you're not caught up on The Bad Batch by this episode or the first two episodes, you might not want to keep watching or listening. That being said, you have been warned. I think we got our very first glimpse in this episode as to what the possible origin is for the newest breed of soldier for the Empire that audiences have only become familiar with really in the past 5 years, because their first appearance was in Rogue One, and then they appeared in a few episodes of Rebels, and then we've seen them in The Mandalorian as well. The Death Troopers. You know, they still have clone trooper helmets. They look like clone troopers, but the colors are black and green. And I feel like eventually those helmets are going to be modified to look like the ones that they'll eventually become, which are the Death Trooper helmets, which are basically a scarier, nastier looking version of a Stormtrooper helmet. And this episode also teased that surviving clone troopers who survived the Clone Wars and the Jedi Purge, are the ones who end up training Imperial recruits, the ones who become Stormtroopers. This also explains why they keep clone troopers around. And I've always wondered, you know, after Revenge of the Sith, I'm like, why didn't they just keep on breeding and producing clone troopers well into the Galactic Civil War era? Like, why not just keep producing nonstop soldiers? But then Tarkin brought up a good point about how much that would cost to the Empire. And then the other officer made a good point about instilling loyalty and how skills can be learned. So I guess eventually the clone troopers, as we've seen in Rebels, grow old and frail just like human beings do, because that's what they are, human beings. So it makes sense that they would just recruit from the local galactic population to serve the Empire, whatever BS line they used. So it was interesting to see the possible origin for the Death Troopers, which was interesting. And of course, Crosshair, of all people, would be a perfect fit and commander for that first unit. And this episode also showed us that it may be too late for Crosshair to go back to his squad. You know, he did a pretty serious offense there. I mean, one of the troopers even refused to execute the civilians, but Crosshair and kept repeating the same propaganda line, a good soldier follows orders. And then he had them all executed after executing the soldier that questioned it. So like I said, this might have been our darkest episode yet. Got a pretty cool glimpse of a cool creature, though. Omega is certainly earning her worth on the team. You know, she's already warmed her way into the Bad Batch's hearts and the audience's hearts as well. That was a pretty cool looking creature. I like how it was like bioluminescent and it was drawn to flashing lights or electronic parts or whatever. Yeah, overall this episode I think was meant to just show us what Crosshair's been up to and what the Empire plans for him. And is it too late for him? Because it looks like when they got back to the bunkers he was sitting there doing some deep thinking, or is he too far into this? So time will tell, but another entertaining episode, and it was kind of an eye-opening one to show us, the possible origin of the Death Troopers, and also, you know, what became of the remaining clones after the Clone Wars and what the Empire did with them. So time will tell, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. What did you think of this episode? I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your night. The Bad Batch drops new episodes every Friday on Disney+. Have an awesome weekend, everybody, if I don't see you. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.